Hello everyone, see that smooth transition we did? We're recording again on Thursday. Yes we are. Hooray. I need to prep my drink. I didn't have one last time if I remember. So we'll just act like we've recorded this on the same day. Sounds like a plan. Shush, don't tell anyone. So this match, pretending like we're recording from the same day, which we're not. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. But anyway, so let's not try and confuse things. Actually, I did look up the Survivor Series thing at the beginning, and it is copyrighted, so I've had to edit that through this week, but it hasn't been that bad otherwise. I've had time to save it and everything, so here we are. Oh, really? You mean the opening bit that you used for Backlash, you said? Yeah, so I've simply put the word oops over the top of it. Because, oops, I made a mistake. It didn't say it was copyrighted. Unless I just wasn't looking. But, oh, never mind. But there's still some of it in there, which is our footage, so it's not all disappeared. For this video, anyway. So this match is obviously, well, we were kind of taking Mandy away from fighting males. Because of the debut of Mindy. Who was that idea? Was that just my idea, or yeah, it was yours. We said we need to give Mandy something to avoid the main event because this night needs to be Knuckles' night. Seeing as he's not on the card, so give Mandy something else to do. So you came up with the debut idea of Mindy, even if I hate her design in particular. But it's still alright, it does it justice. So it's all good. So, yeah. So this was just something for Mandy to do, and then we had the Survivor Series twist of, well, I asked Star if she would like to be in the ring for the first time, like, ever. And she said, I'd love to. So, yeah, she had my permission to put said character into action. We had to change the attire up a bit because there's no way she's going to be grappling, so to speak, in a skirt, even though most of them are. But there you go, it just didn't fit her persona. I thought, let's make her look more like she's ready for action and everything, and ready to defend Raw and everything, away from your praying hands. Even if I was doing some of the stuff. It's kind of ironic, I became the general manager of Raw on show, and yet I'm not actually anywhere associated with it, hardly, at least anymore. So, yeah. Because me and you'd both do Smashdown. Yeah, so, and I didn't want to make Mindy lose this in particular, but I didn't really care who won out of Mandy or Eggman. It was just like whoever gets it, and it would make actually more sense if Eggman won it because then he has all the bragging rights. But then again, if you want the heel victory and have Mandy win it for him, but I thought it best to just have Eggman win instead because he needs like a victory of some kind in a match because he's not in very many matches, and if he is, he loses. So at least we can say he's at least won something in the whole of the show, instead of just being some annoying asshole, which you are. Thank you very much. So charming. I better have that drink. Excuse me, just a moment. You carry on doing what you're doing. Oh, that's good. Ah, right. Right, I can talk now, huh? At least I hope I can. So, yeah, it didn't matter, but I wanted Star to take the fall, so to speak, because she wasn't a competitor, and I wanted, you know, she said that was okay. So, yeah, we were trying to pin Star more than anything. I was trying to go for Mindy at times, but Star was definitely the focal point to have a victory over, because I wanted the thing between Mandy and Mindy to last just that little bit longer, because it did on Raw after so long. But it was just a little thing, like Mandy is, or Mindy I should say, is still on the roster, as you know from the One Night Only events. She's appeared, and we do have something in place for her coming up. So her life is in the ASF is not dead yet. Also, while I'm at it, actually, is something that a lot of people might have missed, and you may want to turn your head just to watch for a minute. But look at Eggman's attire. I'm looking at it. Right. Tell me what's wrong with it. Oh, tell me what's wrong with it in the next part. Smooth transition. Yeah, so tell me what's wrong with it. Right, have you noticed it yet? Right. Okay. Right, I'm going to tell you because we fixed it ever since. Is Eggman's buttons on his shirt are white and the lines are yellow, whereas his actual outfit, the buttons are yellow and the stripes are white. So I reversed the colours by accident, and Karina, being the sharp eye that she is, it's been in our faces all along, noticed that his colour scheme was all wrong with the buttons and the stripes on his side. So we had to change it eventually. I don't know when we did, but we did soon after this, I think. So, yeah, that's something that no one's told me about, that the colours in are inaccurate, until Kanina came along, and I didn't even realise it at first. I don't know what made me... I love this interaction between him and Star. Just Star's relentlessly kicking him on the apron. That was nice. Trying to make Eggman feel like he wanted her so badly, but she was preventing him from doing that. You make that sound like a really bad thing. He wants her bad. But no, we've changed the colour scheme ever since that. Since I got corrected, but I don't really know why the original why I actually accidentally made that mistake of having the colour swap. But there you go, no one noticed it, so... See, watch this and then watch Eggman fight Peach in the Mascot Rumble, and you'll notice the colours have switched. He's now got yellow buttons and white stripes, instead of white buttons and yellow stripes. Yeah? So that's just a little interesting little fact I thought I'd throw out there for everyone. Oh dear, that drink wasn't enough. Why don't you have some more? Oh, you are. Yeah, right. So what else was there in this match to talk about exactly? Not a lot. It was very tag team throughout the whole course of this night. I never noticed until the last minute. Boy, we got a lot of tag team matches. Not only for the Survivor Series matches, but we've got the Hardcore title match, which is now a tag team match. This tag team match, the only basically one-on-one match in the whole of the show was the Women's Championship #1 Contenders match and the 3 Stages of Hell. Everything else was tag team. But I guess that's the theme for Survivor Series, so I'm kind of glad for it. You know, can you survive with more than one person or whatever? And Astroth and Bart kind of fits Survivor Series to a T in terms of one-on-one matches. Who can survive all those different matches in one match, if that makes sense. Makes sense to me. Oh, good. Yeah. I'm recording this one barefoot, by the way. Yeah, I don't want to look at your feet. What is tonight? I'll probably just upload it as 2 separate parts because otherwise I've got to save the whole thing as 3 hours, and I don't want to do that. So, seeing as I already have the first one saved and ready to upload, yeah, would you talk? Maybe you could talk about that during the non-recording of this. It's to let everyone know, just to say, even though they probably assumed by now because we're recording this on the second part. But hey, that's when I've made. This is when I've made that decision. Now you know. You heard it here first. Yeah. So this isn't the last time we see Star in action. Actually, has it been this actually hasn't been the first. I think she might have done a match on Raw. I'm not sure. She didn't have a lot of matches. She was scheduled to have a lot of matches after Armageddon, but we all know what happened with that. Yeah, I guess we can talk about that for a little while because this will be the last event that Star appears in. Not that she appeared in any previously, apart from, she does a lot of work here. She does, Survivor Series, the match, and then she announces Knuckles cashing in. So, yeah, this is one of the last events you see Star in. Not that we've seen her much on these big events, because, of course, she's never had a match or anything. Or had to announce anything. Cyrus has had more presence on a big events than anyone. But, yeah, Star had to go. I don't know why. She just suddenly stopped talking. So it was like I don't really know what to do, and obviously we had the Eggman Triple Challenge to support the rivalry between you and her, and then it was kind of awkward because she just stopped talking or communicating, and by the time Armageddon came around, we didn't have anyone to be the general manager, and then eventually she just said, she just said, do what you want with Star. I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And I was trying to think of a replacement. I mean, we know we had you, but I still wanted the co-general managership to be at hand, at present. Not first and foremost to just annoy and build up the heel heat on the Eggman character. And yeah. So I wanted that still, so Eggman didn't have complete control, because I didn't want to have 2 shows where there were 2 heel members in control. And I think actually, obviously Kanina came up with the concept of Kana because that's one of her characters. I don't know if she would like me saying that or not, but there you go. The truth must be told, as they say, as we've said on these making-ofs. But Kana is her creation. So we had Kana came in, and she's been quite an amusing asset. Despite, I think she's got a few fans as well. I'm looking at you, Worms. Oh yeah, him. Oh yeah, him. He goes. Oh dear, what have we become? But yeah, she's picked up a fan base somewhat, which isn't a bad thing, which is kind of good. Because it was kind of hard to get. To get Connor into the mix, so to speak. And yeah, Kanina does the voice for Connor as well, also. That's not someone else. That is actually her putting on that voice. I don't know like I said, the truth must come out. Oh, she won't mind. So, I did tell her about this, so, yeah. Yeah. Did you? You weren't there. But yeah, so, and here's Eggman absolutely going nuts on Star. I think this is actually the victory. Just do as many of these finishing moves as possible to Star and then end it there and then. And there you go. End of the match. So yeah, but it was kind of hard to get Connor in because we had storylines already in place, and like you said, we were going to have more matches with Star in. Connor gave her own twist to them though, so we had Connor replace Star for those matches. We had her own twist because we wanted to make Connor have that crazy persona, because that's what Kaneda said her character is, and became a fan, and so we made her become a fan of the ladder match because it's a crazy ass match, and we needed some action in the female division, particularly on Raw, because it was getting a bit boring. So just as well, Connor came in to mix things up and throw in some ladders there and here and there. So that was all that plan. And there you go. There's the story of Connor. So I'm glad she's broken into the fold, it being so late into the show, to be a part of it, and to be a big part of it at that. Because of course we've had have the whole Masked Man angle with her as well, involving her. So I'm glad it built up to the point where I think we sold the fact that it was bad that he was going to take out Connor, even if she wasn't with the show for so long. But it worked out all in the end. So that's great. At least I think so, anyway. Good. So, moving on, Eggman, to the 3 Stages of Hell with Bart and Astaroth here. Well, you wanted Bart to win this. I did. Because Astaroth was turning into, as much as I would love to say it, or hate to say it, was turning into a John Cena. And so was Bart, but obviously Bart doesn't have much more of he doesn't have a lot of time left after this in terms of the main event scene anyway. But everyone was probably getting pig sick by now of Astaroth retaining the YouTube Championship by now, and I was feeling that as well, and we really needed to break down the barrier and have Astaroth do something else with someone else, instead of just defending the title all the time, and actually have a proper storyline instead of I'm just defending this belt and I'm tough and whatever. So I was like, what's a convincing way that Bart can win against Astaroth? And we came up with the 3 Stages of Hell concept, so Bart would have the advantage on 2 of the matches. Astaroth would only have the advantage on 1. So it was a given, and that was an easier way to get Bart over as a heel, because he had the advantage in this match, so of course he's going to win. Against the all-powerful being Astaroth, which it was nice to see him actually lose for once, even though he technically lost at Vengeance. That wasn't, we kind of ruined that afterwards. But I'm glad we did, in a sense, because that helped with Sonic's storyline with everything at that point. But yeah, at this point, I think everyone was getting fed up of seeing Astaroth win and retain the YouTube Championship, so we needed a change, and this was going to be it. So we said, right, let's make the steel cage match Bart's kind of match, because of course he defied the odds at Backlash doing the cage match, and I think he might have had a cage match before this as well, on Raw at some point, or SmackDown, not sure. And also would be making a bit of history as well with Bart becoming the world champion, because or the YouTube champion I should say, because we can say now he's won both championships, so it gives him some bit more credibility as well, for the fans, and for the build up to everything else when it comes to someone beating him in the end, and we know who that was in the end, by fair means. So we made the cage match Bart's match, and we kind of still will. That'll be like his A game, entering his second home, as we call it nowadays. But we also needed, and Barnett was in a TLC match, or at least a few, so we made the second Bart's favourite match the TLC match to pick, because I thought it'd be a fun little match to do, and like I said, it's only 2 people in a TLC match, and you can plan it out a bit better and everything. And then Astrov's match, of course, would be the match that he had at Summer Strike, which would be Last Man Standing. And there's no way Bart's going to knock down Astrov for a count of 10. So, 2 easy ways for Bart to win, just escaping a cage and climbing a ladder. You know, as easy as everyone always makes that out to be. But it's more easier than making someone look bad by pinning them or making them submit or making them knock out for a 10 count. So Astrov still came out of this fairly strong because he still had that victory over Bart, or at least one victory, and then he had this as well with the Last Man Standing thing. So he still looked good coming out of it, and Bart still looked like a good heel at the end of the day, the way he won it as well, because we started the whole nightmare angle thing with Astrov, because I thought that'd be a great way to start off that rivalry. You know, and then they can feud over the Hardcore Championship, and things can move on from there. So you know, Nightmare coming out, you know, and we've done that as of late as well. Nightmare has a bad habit of coming out to ladder matches and costing the righteous person the match. So that's kind of a good Nightmare thing to put in all the time. So yeah, so it was quite easy to plan out this match in terms of what was going to happen and how it had to happen. It just needed to happen at the end of the day. And there you go. But I was still wondering how we were going to make him convincingly win the cage match here, because it was bad enough without the cage on the No Mercy match, and now suddenly he's locked in the ring, so he can't do the run around the ring trick, which didn't pay off last time. So what's he going to do now? Well, I just made Bart just seem that little bit more determined, a little bit more tough. I mean, I was saying that No Mercy was a learning curve, so he knew he could learn Astrov's strengths and weaknesses. You know, even if that's not in typical real-life Bart Simpson's character, you know, it had to work because we had to make him that credible heel champion. Or at least a credible opponent against Astrov. Because, like I said, this is still development technically for everyone else on SmackDown. These are still the only 2 main eventers that we had. Or the main event level people. But by the time that Bart won this and came around to defending it, we had a couple more people. So, and we know who that is. So we could move Astrov down and them up, and we could have that nice rotation going. So, yeah. There you go. Ta-da. So that was the excuse for the cage match here to start things off. And like I said, even if Astrov did win, Bart still has another chance. Even if there's no way he's going to win the Last Man Standing match, but, you know. That was a bit of fun. Bart lost stamina during that match and had to suffer for a bit there. Because he couldn't climb out the cage. But, yeah, there we go. So I was trying to get every fall as long as possible because I needed to make or short as possible, I should say, because I needed to make the last match, the TLC match, the longest, so we could have some fun with that, because this night was dragging out as long as it was already, so I didn't want this to particularly drag out that long, seeing as these two have already had a match together. But it'd be interesting to see them in these different concept of matches, because I think this is Astrov's first ever TLC match and first ever cage match, so you know he had 0 match experience, at least what we could say on the commentary. Here's the doing the runaround trick, because Astrov suddenly picked up a chair and I'm like, oh, I better run. Oh dear, he's hit me. I think I was playing as Bart throughout all 3 matches just to make it seem that more convincing, because like I said, it's the right. I play as the right person to play as, and you know Bart's not going to be relentless attacking me like the AI does. So best play as Bart for all 3, and then he can act accordingly. We can act smart, whereas Astrov can be the attacker rather than the defender, because that's what the AI does, of course. Man, what is wrong with me today? Yeah. Oh, it was worse than when I didn't have a drink. Maybe it is doing something to me. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this was fun to do. We had the. I always have a note. That's another thing I can bring up for other wrestling games while we don't use it is the concept of having the. Whenever we have a cage match or a Hell in a Cell, I always make sure that throughout the night, especially if it's a big event, that we have the cage or the cell hanging above the ring to show its presence that, that is going to come down tonight. We can keep saying that. And you can keep on seeing it during the entrances on the on-off occasion to remind you that it is going to come down and happen. Because that's what it does anyway, that's what happens on the real wrestling show, so... you always see the cage or the Hell in a Cell floating up above the ring and everything, and the Elimination Chamber or whatever it may be. I like this game for the simple fact that it actually has the cage or the Hell in a Cell hanging as high as it possibly can be for when you do the entrances for Hell in a Cell or cage matches. Whereas on the more recent games, I think it hangs too low. But it's just so you can simply see it. So it's only that it only exists to be that low, so you can view it during the entrance. But it's a nice thing to do for this game, to put it up that high, because it works for this show. It's like the cage will come down, but it's at the moment it's out the way and where it should be, in terms of where it is usually placed in the arena. WrestleMania 19 actually that came out for the GameCube takes it differently. They actually have entrances with the cage and the Hell in a Cell already in place. But the only problem with that is the entrance lasts until they get to the said cage or Hell in a Cell. So you don't get as long an entrance, but you still see the cell around the ring. I thought that was a nice little touch, because that's how it used to be. The cell used to be already down during the entrances instead of coming down after the entrances. I don't know why they've done away with that, really. Because to me, when you do the Hell in a Cell match, I know I'm not talking about the show anymore, I'm just having a personal rant here, but, when they do that, as much as I like doing it on this show, it's not like I have an option to have the cell around the ring prior, because I like that concept of when the person comes out to do the match, that they actually see the cell and they enter it, and you can make someone look really tough or really intimidated by the structure itself, and it sells the match, and it sells the actual Hell in a Cell as a lethal thing that you don't want to be inside. So in that sense, I like it. So I don't know why they've done away with that, because they've taken a lot of credibility out of what the Hell in a Cell used to be. That was just a really bad move on their part, and you just see the cell now just lowering around them, which is kind of good in a way, but I say it's more better to have it there so the wrestlers can look tough or they can look scared as they walk into it. Because, the first ever one they had, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Undertaker just walks in. Shawn Michaels looks a little bit intimidated as he's walking around, all that stuff. So it's kind of like, it's just that kind of case, and it sells the match better. But that's my own personal little rant. And I'll back you up on that. Thank you. But yeah, that's a little interesting little factoid about the cage matches and Hell in a Cell matches that we do on the ASF here. Is I'll always have the said Hell in a Cell or cage over the top on any given event. So look out for that, because I did it on Bad Blood, obviously, and we had to do it for Summer Strike because the cage, and we did it for this event for the cage, and we did it at Armageddon for the Hell in a Cell. can't think of another. Well, obviously we did it for Backlash. Even far back as then, I had that mindset that we were just going to have. And the way you do that is you just record all the entrances in advance with the cage match stipulation or the Hell in a Cell stipulation, and then you put it all together in post, so that you always have the steel cage or the Hell in a Cell in there above in every single entrance that takes place throughout that event. So yeah, there you go. What other events would we have had it in? We needed it for well, we had it for No Way Out as well because of the cage, and for ASIF because the Hell in a Cell. And I was even going to have the Hell in a Cell up there, even if the voting was going to pick Hell in a Cell, but they didn't. So, but I would have still had it there, because it was an open option. So, to make it that much more convincing that we didn't know what was going to happen. But it did end up happening, so there you go. We didn't need it for the Mascot Rumble, so that was a relief because that was a hell of a lot of entrances to record. But might as well get the rumour mill floating around now that we will be using a steel cage for a Mascot Mania. Ooh. You love rubbing it in. Yes, I do. Yes, we will have a steel cage match at Mania. So we'll be doing the same method there of the cage hanging over the ring for every entrance. So keep a lookout for that. Such a tease. And I thought I wasn't allowed to give out information. Well, not just keep the rumours floating around, or the true rumours, I should say, about and people can get excited for when we come back. Hooray! And they can come up with ideas of who's going to be in this steel cage match or whatever. Oh, excuse-moi. God, it's that drink coming back to haunt me. Disgusting individual. I'm trying to think of more pros and cons that we have for why I don't have I use the Day of Reckoning 2 game instead of everything else. In terms of everything else on the GameCube, once again it comes down to the stamina thing because this is the only game that uses the stamina system. Also for the previous Day of Reckoning game, it was the camera angle as well. I think this is one of the first games to utilize the non-looking at the stage camera. Instead it looks out at the crowd, which I kind of like more because it makes it look more official and everything, like an actual wrestling show that's on the television. I know not every place utilizes that, but for the most part, that's the view that I like the best. So there's that reason as well, and also what other reasons were there? You do miss out on the backstage stuff that I can't do. There are a lot of things that I would love to utilize for the show, and I have in some cases. I think going back to the cage thing again, where I have utilized the WWE started releasing games which had a story maker. You could have cutscenes in it of the cage coming down around the ring. And I thought that would be really cool to have for the No Way Out match. So I put that in of the cage coming down because it kind of builds the hype. So I kind of like that aspect. And if I was using that game, I'd be using that story maker quite a lot for obvious reasons. So I could sell storylines and everything. I've even considered making me an Eggman on the game just so we can have the little announce table intro. We may do that at some point, I don't know, but keep your eyes peeled for that. We may do it for the comeback. Just have me and him sitting at the announce table announcing what's going to happen for that night and everything. Because that would be quite cool, I think. So there are different things from different games that I would love to utilise, but obviously I can't because the cons outweigh the pros. on those particular games. But there are, what other things can I think of that I would love to utilize? Obviously, the new and improved physics system for the newer games I'd love to have, in terms for spot making, because like I said, TLC matches on this game, as you can tell, well, they're pretty basic, but you can still do some nice things, but you can't do as nice of things as you can on the more recent games. So that's the thing I kind of miss out on, but I try to make the matches still as lovable as possible. You know, I think Shadow versus Chaos at ASIF was definitely awesome to watch, for many reasons, and still is one of the most popular matches ever made, I think, for the entire show. Even if it was a bit awkward working with Chaos on that match. But that was all part of the fun, I suppose. It's all the part and parcel. Oh dear, there's the table exploding from Astroth's punch, but hey, it's Astroth. So we could sell that fact. I think that's what we probably said there. Astroth's so strong he can break a table with his fist. But what other games are there that I would love to actually utilize? Many people are probably wondering why not use No Mercy, and it comes down to 4 simple reasons. No Mercy is too slow. Oops, I'll get back into that in a sec. So yeah, No Mercy is too slow action based. And like I said, I didn't want the ASF to be that. I wanted it to be fast paced and action packed and everything and all that stuff. So No Mercy doesn't exactly do that. So that's and again, the kick out system is like, once you've got someone beat, they're beat. There's no chance of them kicking out or anything. So that's another reason. The other reason is I don't have the ability to record on on a Nintendo 64, and I don't want to record using an emulator because it would just look terrible. And also, there's not a lot of matches available for No Mercy. Here's me trying to set up the most craziest spot ever. But yeah, you can't even have a TLC match on No Mercy, and you're very limited to the amount of matches you can have and the amount you can have in it. And every Fatal 4-Way is going to have to be an elimination match. You can't even have standard Fatal 4-Way matches. There's no Hell in a Cell match. You know, now you can hack it, but it would look bad, and some of the matches wouldn't play out as they should. And I don't want to have to, sit through and do all that just for the show. I need something that's just there. You can have a lot of finishing moves in No Mercy as well, which is nice. You can have pretty much a finishing move from every kind of spot you can think of. But this game does offer you 8 finishing move slots. So you can give your person, every wrestler, 8 finishing moves if you wanted them to. So it really opens the boat out for when it comes to signatures and finishers for the characters, because we could just do that with them. And there are characters which have multiple different finishers, so it can vary up the way they win the match, so to speak. So it really opens it out, whereas most games nowadays will only let you have like 4 finishing moves total, and 2 of those will be signature moves, and 2 of those will be finishers. So, I also would like to utilize the create the finisher function as well, but of course I can't, because it is a nice addition. We can make some original moves, or I can still keep the moves that they would for these characters here in this game, but have their own little twist to them before they did the move that they're known for. So that would be very nice to utilize. But still, I can't. Oh, very tired all of a sudden. That's bad. Still got a bit of a way to go. You just hang in there. Yes, sir. So yeah, I mean there's just too many reasons to pile up. Plus, I'd have to make everyone on those said games if I was to move house, so to speak. And it would just take too long. I don't even know if some of the creations are actually possible, or if they were possible, if they could be convincing enough. Obviously, I'd be trying to make them in the same style that they are on this show, but when it comes to people like Metal Sonic and everything, and Chaos, I'm not sure if I'd be able to pass it off very well. Maybe that could be a little competition there for anyone listening to this that is actually willing to try. Is any modern wrestling game that you have, say from 2010 onwards, try and make some of the ASF fighters on the more recent games, and we'll send us pictures and we'll judge. And see how good they are, because I'm not sure you can make a convincing one when it comes to characters like I said with Metal Sonic and Chaos and a few others as well, and Void as well would be really hard to pull off, I think. But that might just be limited to my skill or whatever. I'm not saying that I'm trying to make masterpieces like I said with this Creator Wrestler scheme, but the characters that we've got on the show look fairly basic originally, so so they're going to look fairly basic on this game. So there you go. Oh, okay. Well, I'm a bit tired all of a sudden. Would you like me to take over? Well, what would you do if you did? That sounds like a bad option already. So yeah, it was easy to have Bart in this matchup anyway, in this TLC match, because like I said, we could make him feel more comfortable because this was his kind of match, so to speak. At the time, I didn't want the TLC match to be Bart's particular match favorite. The cage match would definitely be his, though, for sure. So that's that. But we've never have we come up with any other people with the specialty matches that they like? Well, obviously in this match we could say Astrov's favorite match is Last Man Standing. Yeah. But also you could have trying to think. Well, I think we've made the ladder match Tails' favorite match nowadays, considering how much luck he has with it. Or and make it Link's arch nemesis match, yeah. So yeah, there's that. But no, we've never had anyone else have specifically specialty matches. I guess Metal Sonics would be like a no holds barred, and Metal Knuckles would be Hell in a Cell. I'm catching your cough. Super. Labbity bar. What was that? That was me just adjusting myself. Yeah. But no, I don't think we've had anyone else have specialty matches in Pacific. I think Manic has the street fight, doesn't he? Yeah, Manic likes a bit of street fighting, yeah. So we always say that Manic's match is the street fight. So there's that, I suppose. Can we think of anyone else? Well, we could say that the submission experts like submission matches, so Tails certainly is a favourite in a submission match. I think we've actually made the TLC match Shadows kind of match. Here we are with the screw job. Hey, boom. Usually, my decision to do that, would to have the invasion come in, is a simple case of the fact of I will just play as the person who is gonna win, but I'll wait for the AI to actually win the match, and when they do, that's when I'll cut it, and then we'll have the person to invade come in. So if I want someone to actually come into the match, then I'll have them come in after a clever cut, after they've before it shows them winning the match that we're recording, and then I'll have the run in, so to speak. So there you go. That was that match there. Also, it will be a last ditch attempt thing. If the match did go really well, but I got the wrong winner out of it, and if I can afford to have someone run in and cost the other person the match, then I will do the run in, and I'll just edit that in post. So it'll be a simple case of this match was awesome and now this person's going to win, but I don't want them to have the victory, so we need, and if it's possible, can we have someone run in? And I always consult you on that as well, just to double check that I'm not doing something stupid. And we always confirm every single run in if the match didn't go as planned. Or the outcome didn't come out as planned, I should say. If the match was awesome, then I would leave it in, like I said. And if there's a chance that we can have, if there's a chance that we can have someone run in, then I'll have them run in. We've got to watch out for the upcoming part, actually, Eggman, because we've got copyright footage coming up for a Sonic's entrance to come in this title unification match, as we've called it up there. So yes, this is the big one. So I'll get ready and prepared to emergency. Oh, there we are. We've avoided it, luckily. There we go. We always had Sonic come out first because of that entrance, didn't we? Or we have now anyway. Yeah. So, because it's kind of like an aura, like the match is beginning. Here we go, and they kind of can let the tension build up just that little bit more. And it adds to Sonic's, heelness that. Also, the other reason I had that entrance for Sonic, that idea for Sonic, is not only is because he has kind of like a rock-like persona, like we said, and he's got most of the Rock's moves and everything, but it kind of does fit that intro in particular, because I picture it as when you see the city and everything, and the streets and the roads. If I could actually edit that and make it something else, then I would have. You'd see like a blue dash or blur go across the streets or whatever, and go through the streets and everything. And when it zooms up to the building at the end, you'd see the blur slowly climb up through the building, and then you'd see Sonic standing on top, giving you the old classic thumbs up kind of pose. Just before it breaks into the entrance. So use your imaginations there, people, and that's what the original entrance was gonna. That's what I pictured. Obviously, I couldn't change what it looked like because I don't have that kind of stuff to utilize that. But yeah. So just imagine, just every time you see the road or whatever, just Sonic dashing past, even though you'll probably never see it ever again now because you can't. But like I said, with the new edited entrance, which is the footage reversed and sped up, you still can. I don't know if anyone approves of that, but hey. I think we've given up the ghost on talking, or not talking while it's playing. Like we start talking now when it is playing, so just there you go. So yeah, there you go. God dear. So this was the starting the friendship, so to speak, of Sonic and Metal Knuckles, and continuing it in essence. That little alliance that we had part time. This is Aki's second only big event match, and it happens to be the main event. But like I said, we kind of run out of spaces to utilise. Because like I said, I didn't want Mandy in there at any means, because it'd be too many heels against too many because we only had so we were using up anyone that would be credible enough. But we didn't want Aki to be that credible, so we had him come in first. But certainly Metal Sonic and Mario and Sonic and Metal Knuckles had that. And of course Chaos had the Intercontinental titles. That automatically made him, imported him into this match and made him important, because he was one of the title holders going into this match. Yeah. And I thought it would be too big of a giveaway if we didn't have Knuckles on this whole event. It was going to cash in afterwards, so we wouldn't get someone walking out with both championships in the end. But that's what I was trying to get over is like both the championships are going to be won, but they'll still be separate. We're not combining them, and one will not disappear, or the Intercontinental title will not dissolve as a result of this match. There'll still be two separate titles, so that put the emphasis that Knuckles, when he does cashes in, only cashes in for the World Championship because that's what the match requires. He doesn't pick up both titles, which means Sonic keeps the Intercontinental Championship. But Metal Sonic was definitely a favourite going into this. I think Mario was as well. To win both titles, we were trying to push that boat out. Oh, God, yeah, I'm very tired. God, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm going to have a kip after this. Anyway, what else can I say? The original ending for this match is, like I said, we weren't actually going to have Chaos lose at all. We were going to make him still stand strong because, of course, he's on Sonic's team, and Sonic was going to be the winner. So we could continue this thing that he's the best and everything, because now he's been now he's the self-proclaimed undisputed champion and all that garbage. Well, I'm not saying garbage, but you know what I mean. Sonic, I think, needed to win this just to help with the Knuckles thing, because we knew now was the point that Knuckles needs to cash in. We've got Mandy doing something else, and they've split away from each other, but they're going to collide at some point again in the future at some point, so for now, just keep them separate. Because I didn't want that rivalry to go stale at the end of the day, so I was trying to just stretch it out in a way. And this was the best way to do it. And then once again, we're going to put Sonic at the beginning, as you can see here, and he goes all the way through to the end. Because we did the same kind of thing with him with Mascot Rumble as well. Putting him at the start and making him go all the way to the end. Just so that he still keeps that legitimate toughness, but at the same time we can continue the storyline of him being an idiot saying that he's the best and everything, but never quite pulling it off because of all these hindrances, and it's become the little joke now. I thought Sonic needed to win this match so that we could continue that arrogant cockiness, and Knuckles cashing in could help drive that as well. Because he could say, he cost me everything and now I don't have the championship that I rightfully earned and all that garbage. Again, I'm calling it garbage, I don't know why. But actually we had, Chaos was never originally supposed to to get beaten at all. But in the end, I just wanted it to be 1-on-1 instead of it suddenly ending and we've got a champion and it's Sonic. So we needed everyone to get eliminated apart from Metal Sonic and Sonic in the end, and which is these two at the end here. Which once again, of course, made eliminations more easier to process because it's always going to be alternating between the two teams in terms of members, but it's not going to be Metal Sonic or Sonic. Oops. So yeah, on that front, that was all good. What was I going to say? Oh, right, yeah, I'm talking about the original ending. So yeah, Chaos wasn't going to lose. So we were actually going to have him attack Sonic at the end of it because he was having that kind of tweener persona as a result of this, and he still kind of did afterwards, but he turned back into that monster heel not soon after this. So we were going to have him attack Sonic instead, and that's when Knuckles was going to cash in, you see, after he'd been manhandled. But instead we had to just, like I said, I wanted it to just be two people at the end to see who would be walking away with both championships. And Chaos has effectively lost the Intercontinental title because he's not in there. So that continues. That's an automatic rematch for, you know, people could be possibly assuming that Chaos is going to turn face because he's going to take on Sonic now for the championship, who's a heel. So that left that door open. So we had Metal Sonic attack Sonic instead at the end, just out of anger that he didn't win the title again. You know, the title seems to be eluding Metal Sonic, even though he wants it really badly, and continuously gets eluded. And of course, we had that championship match on Raw after this with Knuckles and Metal Sonic, and then we started the whole Luigi thing. So Metal Sonic has always been really close to the championship. But he's just never come that close to winning it. But of course now with him going into the main event of Mascot Mania, because of course that's a given because he's won the Mascot Rumble. Great victory for us there. So now he gets another shot, but will he be doing that again? More hype for the comeback. Dear me. Is Metal Sonic finally going to win the title with it? He's been practically trying to get ever since this event at Survivor Series. Only time will tell. Yes. I'm trying to think of something else to mention here at all. I think we were trying to eliminate Aki first because, like I said, we didn't want him to have that presence in. And he's part of the face team anyway, so it'd be good to have the numbers game and the heel advantage. Because obviously Mario would be coming out after this. Because there's only 3 members in total. But they'd still have that numbers advantage all in all. So I think Aki is the first one to get eliminated here. What other video games can I think of the reason why I don't have them in? WWE All Stars for a given reason. As fun as that game is, obviously it's a given reason. There's not many matchups and everything, and it's a bit crazy and everything, and you can't assign moves or anything like that. You can just assign finishers on a move set to created wrestlers. So yeah, just no, too many faults with that. Even though it is one of the more funner games, and I'm still waiting for a sequel to All Stars. But hey, they're gone with the days with fun wrestling games, eh? What other wrestling games are there out there? In some cases, it just comes down to I can't record using those machines. I think there was. Have I mentioned SmackDown 2? Because I do like the Creator Wrestler for SmackDown 2. I have been using it. I still do today. And I still play that game today. But I think it comes down to, again, the simplicity of the matches that you can have. Whereas you can really stretch things out here. You can only have one-on-one TLC matches. And you know, Hell in a Cell isn't as great as it is in this match. So it'd be rather stupid, and the matches don't last very long on that game either. So, you know, this game is just perfect for pacing. That's probably one of the sole reasons I actually use this game still to date, is because you can pace the match. You can pace certain matches really, really well if you think about it, and if you think hard, if you know, you don't have to think very hard to pace them either, because sometimes they'll give it to you automatically. So, you know, the pros outweigh the cons. There are a few things that I don't like about this game. Like I said, the easily broken tables and the fact the AI doesn't climb on top of them once they put you on top. The match they'll do that obviously on is a table match. If they ever come to that stage, because usually they set it up in the corner or whatever, so they don't have to. But when they do, they'll climb up on the table and do a move on you. I don't know why that hasn't been employed for every other time you're on a table, but there you go. It's just a puzzling thing there. Also, the blood glitch, I've also pointed out. If you get busted open during a move, then you just stand there continually getting up unless you get punched and you can't move at all. So it's kind of an inconvenience at times, especially when that happens. And I've left it in. Yawning again. Oh dear. It's been a very tired commentary. But yeah, there's just too much stuff in the end of the day of why I like this. You know, there are some things that, like I said, I would like to utilise from other games, but I can't because there's just too many problems otherwise with it. The only other con I can think of with using this game is, of course, the amount of created wrestlers you can have, which has been a big hindrance because I only have so many memory cards. And I know I should be going out my way to buy more, but it's kind of hard to then make some matches. But if you're using you know, multiple people from different memory cards, then what do you do then? So you'd still need some empty slots in every single memory card, and you'd have to move them over and everything. That's still what I have to do now because I have 3 in total. So if I have a match with 3 different people from 3 different memory cards, I have to put at least one of them onto one of the other memory cards so that I can just do the match. So, you know, it'd be problematic enough trying to remember who's on what and everything. So that's probably why I have just stuck it at 3, but that's still enough. Because with 3, you can, you know, it's 16 people per memory card. So I say that's enough, you know, because that's 16 plus 16 plus 16. Do the math on that one. I can't be bothered right now. But that's still a lot of people that we can put in or have or whatever. And we've got, you know, because the roster is slowly kind of expanding, even though we've lost some people and we've gained some people or whatever. But it's slowly expanding, and the universe is becoming a little bit more thick, so to speak. It's becoming bigger, or just a little bit bigger, so we can have more people come in and have some more interesting matches and concepts and storylines and everything. But yeah, I mean, on the current wrestling games, I think you can make up to 100 people. You know, that would be nice. But again, it's just the game just doesn't play off on screen for me when it comes down to the show, because the AI can act really stupid at times, and most of the time the matches are one-sided and everything. So for me, either way you put it, the computer will either be too easy to beat up, or the computer will be beating you up and it'll be too hard to stop them. So you wouldn't get hardly anything done, and if you did, it'd be all one-sided, which is what I don't want, because this match you can never tell who really is taking the advantage or anything. So I kind of like that aspect of it as well, because it's still, we can say anything can happen and it's anyone's ball game and all that good jubble. I must be getting ill, I swear. Don't sit anywhere near me, Eggman. What do you think I'm doing? This first part's taking forever. Yeah, it is. We've still got the first 4 people in here, but then again, it's kind of good that we're stretching this out, because it's got less people in it, so it kind of builds up the tension of who's going to win, and who's going to be the first one eliminated. So in that essence, it kind of almost works, and I think things get a little bit more faster after this, because we haven't got a hell of a lot more parts after this. We're on part 16 right now of 19 parts in total, which is the most we've had for any show so far, apart from maybe a few. Even though we've got bigger time limits now for each video we can put on YouTube, because this was still back when I was only still putting 10-minute videos up. So yeah, but it's increased since then, and I've been putting 15 to 20-minute parts up instead, because YouTube will allow that. So that's nice. So we can have less parts, but it'll still be just as long. But you won't have to. People won't have to go and find the next part on YouTube or on the channel or whatever. They can just enjoy the show a bit longer without having to find the next part or whatever every 10 minutes. So it works on that front. I've noticed some weapon usage here. Yeah, we did take the disqualification off because I was saying we need a definite winner. I think that was for both Survivor Series matches that we had. But more specifically, it definitely needed to be done for this one, because we wanted to have a definite winner without a disqualification or anything. And a definite person getting pinned or submitted or whatever. So on that front, we didn't have any count-outs on, as you can see, and we had the disqualification off, so it was only pin or submission you could win, to get some definite eliminations and some definite winners and some definite losers. So I thought it was a must, and if we were going to have it for the main event Survivor Series match, we may as well have it for the other one. So that was why we had it for the other match as well as this one. Because it's all fun. Because I think most of the people out there do like matches involving weaponry. Let's face it, who doesn't? But sometimes gimmick matches don't make everything up. They certainly make things a little bit entertaining with a twist. But if you keep on having them non-stop, then they get boring. I mean, even ECW realized that back in the day, that they can't just keep having people being hit by trash cans and going through tables and all that shit. You needed some pure, just some wrestling in the end of the day, and some good wrestling at that. And that's what I try to make the ASF be. It's we can have all fucking blood and guts and people going through tables and falling off ladders and all that shit. But we need some pure wrestling as well, just some lovely one-on-one, mono-on-mono kind of matches, or just some regular tag team matches. Just to, make it seem that much more, varied and stuff, so it's more like a special occasion when a gimmick match shows up. And it's oh, now what can these two do now in this gimmick style matchup? Because that's how it helps rivalries build and continue and get more interesting to watch as they progress, rather than getting more boring because it's the same thing they've been doing with with the same weaponry and everything. So for me, it just helps, just the longevity and rivalries and stuff. now these two have fought in one-on-one match. Now what would they do with no disqualifications, or what would they do in a ladder match, or what would they do in a cage, or just there anything that would just expand on the rivalry and make it and keep the interest going, even though they've already fought each other. And that's what I always feel gimmick matches are needed for, is just the premise of continuation of this rivalry, and it's been building and building and building to the point where we need to take the disqualification off, or we need to have weapons, or we need to have this added stipulation to the story because it helps with the characters and everything, with their development in the storyline and everything. So yeah, as important as everyone, as much as everyone likes gimmicks, they're not always the main thing, the most important thing to make a wrestling event good. They just help it. They just help the rivalries, in my view. So it's good to have a bit of everything now and then. I think Vince McMahon even said it himself. As much as he is out of touch with everyone, that you need to adhere to every member of the audience. You can't just appeal to a small portion of the audience. You need to appeal to everything and have a well-rounded show at the end of the day. And I believe in that. That's probably the only thing I want, that I will agree with Vince on, is you need to have variety in your show to make it amusing for everyone. Because there's a lot of other shows out there that that have that I like, that but everyone else likes for different reasons, because it's got variety. So that this person will like this particular show because it has this in it, and I like that same particular show, but only because it has this particular thing in it. So it's nice to have variety, always, in television in general, and just with making anything, really. When it comes down to the basics, even book writing needs to have it and everything like that. There you go, Aki is the first of all. But just always you need variety. That's the bottom line. Yeah, I'll back you up on that one too. Yay. I'm being supported. Yeah, you definitely need a variety and mix-up of everything. Even if we're not doing that with the one night only shows, we're kind of just having them as set themes. But, like you said, people get to vote for what they want, so it all depends on what the votes go to. So technically they're still getting what they want. So on that front, it doesn't actually matter. Because we've already had the Extreme Rules kind of event where every match is a gimmick match, and then we've had the Joker's Night where every match is randomized, which is kind of a unique thing in itself. And I can't announce what the other one's been, because you're going to have that on this weekend, you said? Yeah, at some point, it's either going to be on Friday or it's going to be on the weekend that we're going to announce the matches for the next one night only event with the theme that has been voted for. So I hope you're all looking forward to that, which will air on the 25th of January, and I'm still in the process of making it, of course. So we'll be doing that. I think I did say that all these events will take us all the way up to that point. I'll have to check my calendar, won't I? My brand new 2015 calendar. I think it does, yeah. Because what have we got after this? We've only got I think it's only 4 more events to cover. Let me see, Armageddon after this, yeah? Yep. And then we got No Way Out. And then the ASIF, and then Mascot Rumble. So yeah, it's only 4 after this. So that's going to cover us for the next 2 weeks, and that's about it. Which is when, and then I think one night only will be in the space of about 2 weeks. So yeah. And who got pinned there? I think it was actually Sonic who got pinned there on that front, but we just made it so it was Metal who got the pin on Metal Knuckles. So now we got both the champions in, as it were, which is Mario and Chaos. We're gonna duke it out here. I'm not sure who. So Mario's gonna get eliminated next. I believe, who is the world champion. So it was like, we're going to have definite new world champion, and possibly is Chaos going to still win here, because they were still trying to make his presence feeling as that big powerful monster that we know and love. And then I actually had the fight when it came down to those three. I just made it a triple threat in terms of matches, but we were still keeping the team element in. But it was Sonic wants to be the champion, but he doesn't want Chaos to have a chance, and vice versa. Chaos doesn't want Sonic to have a chance of winning against Metal Sonic, so they both wanted to get rid of each other. So we've just hit part 17 of 19, so we've got about another. That gives us another half an hour, which is about right for the time, I think. Give or take. I think the last part may be a little bit shorter than 10 minutes, of course, as it always is, because we don't actually never fit these shows to a perfect T, but there you go. There is not much else to talk about. I think we've covered quite a bit of a lot, if not everything. It's a pity I didn't upload the first part on a Sunday, because we could have had some more people commenting, but never mind about that. So sadly, Mario had to fall back into the obscure land after this match, because of course he's no longer champion. Even though I was going to give him like the rematch thing, it all shifted over because of Sonic was the last champion technically now, so he should get the rematch or whatever. Even if they had to go through a number one contenders match to see who would be going into the Hell in a Cell, and it was a team fight, so Mario had a chance to win then. But I wanted the heat to be on Knuckles, like he was going to enter the Hell in a Cell with just with simply facing three tough heels that wanted the championship, and it's the first time we put Mandy in the main event. So yeah, we were definitely getting her warmed up, so to speak, seeing as we didn't do very much with her on this show. We just needed to once again make her presence felt, and this time just stick her straight in there, but not make her win. But we'll talk more about that when we come to Armageddon next weekend. We most certainly will. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I just want to go to bed. No, I'm not that tired. I just need a little kip or whatever. I guess you don't want me flying around after this then. Well, if I can help it, then I could do with a little rest afterwards. So maybe, and I'll see you a bit later or whatever. If I do see you later at all, I don't know. I probably won't see you until next weekend now, will I? Nope. Oh well. I don't know what's come over me all of a sudden. There you go. I'm just sleepy all of a sudden. Yeah. It's been a busy day because I've been delayed on a few things because of drawbacks and all that gubbins. When it comes to anything else I've been doing for the channel. If anyone is watching the Let's Plays that I'm doing, by the way, then do say. I'm just curious, because I feel like I've separated my audience right now. There is only a bunch of people watching my Let's Plays at the moment, but hey, it's early days, and there was only a bunch of people watching the ASF back in the day, so everything will grow eventually. But I'm just curious if there's anyone actually out there that are watching my other videos that I'm doing currently. Other than just the ASF stuff, just curious, or vice versa. If you suddenly decided to get into watching this show, and everything, and you've been watching my Let's Plays instead, then mention. But otherwise, don't bother. You don't need to. So yeah, here we go now. It's a triple threat format here. So yeah, Chaos is going immediately after Sonic because now they obviously realised that Metal Sonic is the final member of that team, and they don't want one or the other to get a victory here. I was trying to make it so they wouldn't get pinfalls. So the best thing to do is avoid them going for pinfalls. I forget who I was exactly playing as here. It might have been Sonic, it might have been Chaos. It was one of the two. It was most likely Sonic, seeing as we needed Chaos out. But it was to ensure that Metal would actually pin him. So we tried not to have Chaos pin Sonic here. Or vice versa. Obviously it looked really stupid and the referee would make the count in a tag team match, which would be a bit stupid. So trying to keep the separation between those two as much as possible, even though they are mingling at the moment. But that was the plan, is to try and keep Chaos away from Sonic and vice versa. And then have Metal eliminate Chaos instead. You know. Tiredness. I do fancy fast forwarding this all of a sudden. But that's only because tiredness is set in and I don't really know what else to talk about right now. But I'm sure we'll think of something in a minute. That's what I'm trying to think of right now. That's why I haven't said very much, to be honest. Oh well. But after this we have the return of Shadow, I guess we can discuss. Even though we've technically talked about it already. But it's one of the greatest comebacks ever. So yeah, we're going to move Sonic into that storyline, even though no one obviously knows it at this point. When we were making it, that Shadow was going to come back eventually, and we were going to have those. We had those little hints coming up with the eyes flashing on the screen, and whatever. And we were like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" And all that. So that was nice. I think I definitely was playing as Sonic on this bit. And just trying to avoid Chaos as much as possible. To make sure he doesn't go for a pin or anything on me. Because that, like I said, would look really stupid in a tag team format still match. I was just hoping this was going to be the end right here, actually. This tombstone that Metal was going to give. Here we go, there's the cover. 1, 2, and no. Technically, we wanted him to lose by submission if we were starting the unpinnable thing. I'm starting to think that this gimmick we put on him has been really delayed now. Especially if he gets pinned on this event, because it's like it's the only way you can technically beat him, because these two aren't submission experts or anything. Specifically Metal, who's supposed to be the one eliminating him at the end of the day. But yeah, I have completely forgotten how we do dispose of Chaos, if we do at all, but we definitely do, because it comes down to Metal, Sonic, and Sonic in the end. So, yeah. Well, I guess we'll be learning something. I'm starting to wonder myself now when it actually does start to come up, when we start having the unpinnable Chaos thing come up. I'm starting to wonder anymore if it even exists or if we just dreamt it up at the same time. Surely it happens here, maybe. I don't know. I think that's why I just originally wanted the match to end with Sonic beating Metal Sonic, and that was it. Because the stipulation was for obviously the stipulation was whoever got the final pinfall for the final elimination, the final victory for the final elimination would pick up both championships. So that was the stipulation given. So we could have had just Sonic win fair and square here. So it was a bit more hard to put together in total, really. But I'm definitely keen on... Oh, here we go. Here's a pinfall one. Nope. It'll be keen to see. I just want to watch it now just to find out what happens here, unless anyone remembers. But obviously they won't be able to tell us. But if you knew how Chaos was eliminated in here, then you can say, go and say it now before it actually happens. Nah, you're not going to get that, are you? You're just going to get a load of cheats. Oh, you're very nice. I like our fan base. They're just going to cheat and watch the result and say, oh, I remember it was by this. Maybe. Sorry it's a bit blank right now, folks. We're just waiting for this chaos ending. Shouldn't be that long to go, surely, because we're on part 18 of 19. We just checked that part 19 was only about 4 minutes long. So it can't be that much longer. Is this it? Is he going to get eliminated by pinfall and we haven't started the gimmick yet? No? This is pretty recent. If it was up to me and I was actually could decide if this gimmick was going to come earlier, it would have come Unforgiven for me personally, or it would have even started at Summer Strike technically, because he gains a victory there. As early as that, so it would have seemed that a little bit more credible that he was impossible to pin. But if it starts here, that's fair enough. But otherwise, if it doesn't, I will start to get worried. As how we even came up with that idea. To have to put that persona on Chaos, indeed. There's a lot of blue people in this match. That's a good observation. But hey, what are you gonna do? Oh God! Oh Jesus! I'm definitely having a kip after this. Oh jeez! Ah, there. I wonder what our commentary was like. I think we recorded this ironically enough in 2 parts as well because it was so long, didn't we? Because I was feeling a bit under the weather as well, if I recall, for the first part that we did. So I just wanted to feel a little bit better, and then we did we recorded our commentary in 2 parts instead of 1. Doing it from start to finish. Oh, there you go. Chaos gets pinned. Oh, well, we didn't start it yet then. When did we start it? I don't even know anymore. So, yeah, now it's down to these 2. That's all good. Like I said, yeah, it needed to happen in the end. Just have one-on-one who's going to win, because we're definitely going to have a new world and Intercontinental champion as a result of this. Because everyone was probably guessing by now that Knuckles is going to cash in. I don't know, because he wasn't on this event. So So it was like, we're going to have a guaranteed new world champion, and it's going to be Knuckles, and we're going to one of these two are going to be the Intercontinental champion. So there was all that excitement in the front of the fair. God, when does Chaos start to not become unpinnable? Because there's not a lot of events left to cover that, to be honest. It's all a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, because I know we've given him that persona, but I'm starting to wonder when. Oh well. We'll figure that out when the time comes. It must have been by Armageddon, it must have been. Because technically he doesn't lose there, does he? Shadow pins Sonic. And then of course he can't do it at ASIF because it's a TLC match. And we definitely don't make him lose by pinfall at the Mascot Rumble either. Or before that, or whenever. So it must have been just after this. Surely. Yeah, most probably was. Now that you've said all that for afterwards. Yeah. Well, we've still got the ruling of no count out or disqualification, so Menasonic's going to make full use of that by doing the tombstone. I think I am actually playing as Metal in that case on this particular bit. Or maybe not, I don't know. I think I was. Yeah, because the AI would never do that. Go back in the ring, torn, come back out. I think that was just me saying, yeah, Menasonic's got this one. Somebody does say, you know, Menasonic's going to be the champion finally again. But no, it ends up being Sonic. That'd be a really... If I wanted to turn Knuckles full-blown heel straight off the bat, you know, I could have just done it with Metal Sonic being winning the title here, but then it results in Knuckles cashing in and being a snot. But Sonic gets the heel gets the victory here, and then we have the face cash in. Because I didn't want Metal Sonic in the Armageddon event of course, because I was trying to just stall him for picking up the title. Or having another championship match in general. So, yeah, it all made sense if it was Sonic to win, like I said. Because then he still gets that bragging right for as part of his gimmick thing that's going on with him being saying that he's the best and all that. And why isn't he being treated as the best and whatever. All that gubbins. I've said that a lot, so I'll stop, even though we haven't got much left in terms of time of how long this is going to take. There's a nice Tombstone pile driver ending. I tried to go for the Rest in Peace cover there, the pin where he folds the arms over, but Sonic countered, which was a good thing. But the Rest in Peace pin is one of those ones where you can break up regardless if the person has broken out of the pin and it still looks good. You can say they just barely kicked out. Instead of, like I said, because when they pin on a regular occasion and you cancel the pin, they actually just lift it looks like they've hold their head up and lifted their shoulders off the mat themselves. So it doesn't really work as a kick out function. But any roll up or pin, any roll up pin or cradle or whatever, it does actually look like they kicked out, even if they didn't, and you've just broken up the pin instead yourself and stopped it from happening. It still looks like they've kicked out, so that's all good. I was tempted to let this submission fly, but obviously Sonic hasn't got that much submission skill, even if he does have a sharpshooter. But it's something to have. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. There's the ending straight off the bat. Sonic gets a roll up, and I thought, fuck it, just let him win. And there we go. There's that moment in there. So yeah, this next to come up moment is the big shocker of the night, even if probably, like I said, some people may have seen it coming already, seeing as Knuckles wasn't on the actual event. And here we go, Metal Sonic's going to attack Sonic now, and everyone's probably sensing it now and seeing it coming. Because Knuckles is going to cash in and make some history here with our first ever Money in the Bank cash in on YouTube, not in the ASF total history. I've had that kind of thing happen obviously in retro ASF when it wasn't on YouTube, but this is our first cash in on YouTube that we ever had. We've had some decent cash ins prior to after this as well, not prior to it, but yeah, we have in a way. But you know, this was a good first one to have. And of course we had Mandy cash in, and Metal has yet to cash in because now of course he has the Money in the Bank as well. But he's going to be doing something very cool with that. So, like I said, like I keep saying, build the hype. He's going to be doing something very special with that Money in the Bank. But all will be revealed on the comeback in April. You are such a big tease. Hey, it's all good. So here's Star coming out to announce. And Metal Sonic's going to be like, oh. That was kind of a good thing that we'd have Metal walk back up the ramp, and then we can have Star just come out onto the stage here to announce the cash in. And here he is, doing the entrance. So yeah, he's going to head on down. Here we are. Sonic is out for the count after that little attack by Metal Sonic, and he's been in the match from the get-go at the start. It's rather annoying when it comes to doing stuff like this because you have to build up the character's finisher just so that you can utilize it straight off the bat, which usually involves just the character taunting for a little while before I actually go in to record. And of course, if I fuck up the recording, I've got to do it all over again, and do a bunch of taunts just to get the special, just to get another special up. But yeah, there you go. 2 F5s later, and it's all successful and done. And Knuckles is the champion. Hooray! And he still is to this point, but now he's under a more heel persona. But that doesn't happen until after the ASIF, so we've still got a little time to talk about Knuckles being a face champion and a heel. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to end it all there by saying thank you so much for sticking around. We've been sticking around for, well, we haven't stuck around for all 3 hours. We've split it in 2 like we said, but you know, if you've been watching it from start to finish for all 3 hours, then I commend you. But if you've been watching this in parts, then I don't mind that either. It's obviously what suits you to your schedule or your taste or whatever. But I hope we've supplied you with some interesting information regardless throughout the whole of the event, apart from the ending bit there, because that's understandable. We just ran out of stuff to do, but at least we had something-ish to talk about near the end there. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on next weekend for Armageddon. The end is near. Say goodbye, Eggman, by the way. You haven't said much. Goodbye. Go on, just say the end is near. The end is near. Yes, we'll see you next weekend for Armageddon. Oh yeah.